These videos are made for the purpose of entertainment. These are not made to give you an excuse to harass the original creator. I do not condone the harassment or bullying of the creators featured in these videos.
Hello everybody, my name is Yuji and welcome back to another video. I've got another fanfiction for you guys. I was going to read this months ago, but the original audio I had recorded was all kinds of messed up and I just could not fix it, no matter how hard I tried. And then the fic was deleted from Wattpad, so I scrapped the video entirely. But I discovered that the author has a quotive, and this story is still up on their quotive. I don't know if it has the same amount of chapters, or if the content is 100% the same as the Wattpad version, but it still has 9 chapters. So, we're going to be reading it and going over it today. The fanfiction I have for you today is The Queen of Darkness by anime lover Murillo. This author was introduced to me by another user I was acquainted with, and I've been keeping an eye on Murillo since because she's an interesting person, and her stories are less than desirable. I've read a few of them, and they're all so honestly not good. She writes a lot of OC ex-canon character stories, and there's nothing wrong with that by itself, but she writes the characters so out of character that she might as well just be writing stories about original characters and not about Severus Snape from Harry Potter or Stork from Stormhawks. I don't understand completely rewriting a character's personality for your fanfiction to the point where they are damn near unrecognizable as that character, and for no reason other than you wanted to, I guess. I enjoy reading stories where a character's personality has been reimagined in some way, but those stories often have a narrative reason behind a character's personality being rewritten, whether that's just natural character development throughout the story, everything is being rewritten and changed because the source material is garbage, or for some other factor that has a reason behind it. For example, this My Hero fanfiction, Locked in Digital, where Midoriya is kidnapped, digitalized, and trapped inside a simulation Sword Art Online style, because some nut job wanted to make a way to put people into computers and video games. But Quirks broke his coding and simulation, so after he was fired, he kidnapped Midoriya, put him in the simulation to be able to test his work. Midoriya happened to be the perfect test subject because he was quirkless and wanted to be a hero, so Mr. Nutjob tasked him with completing 9 video games inside the simulation to train him, basically, before he was able to leave the simulation. He dies and comes back to life literal hundreds of times during this, and Midoriya is trapped there for a year. It's a good story, you should go read it. It has 61 chapters, and it's still actively updating, which is the best part. But tell me, do you think being trapped in a computer, dying, and being revived multiple times, trying to survive unimaginable horrors for a year, would leave us with normal, happy, go-lucky, must-save everyone Izuku Midoriya? The answer is no. And that kind of rewriting of a character I love. What I don't love is making Severus Snape an uwu soft boy 'cause reasons. It drives me nuts. Queen of Darkness is actually a prequel to another fanfiction she has wrote, The Princess of Darkness, which was also deleted off of Wattpad, but is still up on Quotive. She is rewriting both stories, but she only has 3 chapters up for The Princess of Darkness, so when I get around to reading The Princess of Darkness, I'll read the old version and then check out the new version to see how much improvement there has been from 2016 to now. Before I start reading, there is something I want to bring up because it drives me mad. Murillo only does this on Wattpad, but she has a really weird and annoying habit of having massive spaces between paragraphs. And when I say massive, I mean massive. And it is so annoying, and it's only on her Wattpad that she does this. Her Quotive does not have this problem. but please, for the love of God, fix this. Just go into the editor and get rid of the spaces. For the rest of you, don't do this. Don't put massive spaces in between your paragraphs like this, please. It disrupts the flow of your story a lot. I could be invested in your story and then suddenly I have to scroll forever to get to the next paragraph and it completely takes me out of it. The only time I can see putting a big space in between paragraphs like this is when you're trying to build suspense. But that's a bad way to build suspense in your story, so don't do that either. Okay, I'm done with my rambling. Let's get started with the Queen of Darkness. I'm going to start off with the story's description and then move on to the character's bio before we read chapter 1. I take that back, I'm not reading the description because it's just the beginning lyrics to Sally's song from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Which, okay, I guess I would have preferred an actual description and not just song lyrics, but I guess we'll go with it. After all the song lyrics, it does say the story of how Marie met Cerberus. I do not own anything from Harry Potter except for the OC character. I made her up. Thank you. But that's about it in terms of an actual description, which is still very lackluster and doesn't really make me want to read your story or make me even the slightest bit interested. If I wasn't a content creator, I would have completely skipped this story in favor of something with more depth or intrigue. Like the story of how Marie met Cerberus. Oh wow, the 500th generic OCX canon story that has zero flavor. Next. I would be a lot more interested in this story if you wrote, The Daughter of Voldemort, Marie Riddle meets Severus Snape. It's not like you keep her being Voldemort's daughter a secret until later in the story. We learn she's Tom Riddle's daughter within what is technically the first chapter, Marie's bio. And a fanfiction that revolves around Voldemort's kid? That sounds interesting. And I know, canonically, he does have a daughter that was introduced in The Cursed Child, Delphine, but she was not a very interesting character, and The Cursed Child did not really revolve around her, and she only came about after the events of the main story. She's basically a nothing side character, so a story revolving around Voldemort's kids has a lot of potential to be a really good, interesting story. Anyways, let's look at this character's bio, I guess. There is a picture for her, but it's just some girl she grabbed from Google Images, so I can't really say much about the design of the character from the picture alone. Name Marie Riddle, age 12, hair color black, eye color sky blue, personality calm, kind, intelligent, patient, quiet, honest, loyal, generous, and brave. Bio. Marie has one older brother and a young sister. Her older brother, Felix Riddle, goes to Hogwarts as a second year in Slytherin House, while her sister will be entering in her first year with Marie. Marie's mother, Sophie Riddle, only wants her children to learn that love isn't a weakness, it is indeed a strength. But after her death, she told Marie to always remember, love isn't a weakness, it is a strength. However, her father, Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort, believes it is only a weakness. He only wants his children to become Death Eaters and join him in the army. Marie didn't want to become part of the army, so she became neutral. In many days, her father has forbidden her to fall in love with any boy at all. Marie was so upset and hated her father for it. Soon, Marie will soon fall in love with a boy. So, that sure was a paragraph I read. Yup. Definitely words that are there. So, I don't like how this was written. At all. It's so wordy and not wordy at the same time. It's weird. And the sentence structure is just overall awful. But can we just talk about how weird it is to have this entire OC's bio be based solely around love and her parents' ideologies around love and nothing really about the character herself? We don't really get an idea of what her relationship with either of her parents are really. Like, we don't know what her home life was like at all, and her dad is motherfucking Lord Voldemort. Marie has some interesting avenues to explore in terms of backstory, considering one of her parents is basically fictional adaptation of the funny mustache man from World War II. Like, was she mostly homeschooled and kept away from other kids? Was she allowed into an ordinary school? And if so, was she a sociable child? Right now, with the current bio, she isn't very compelling. Certainly not compelling enough to make me want to read a whole ass fan fiction about her. Her character needs to be interesting to hook readers in a realistic way, not a woe is me, my father is evil and hates love kind of way. Something tells me that outside of some angst points or dramatic moments, her dad being Voldemort isn't really going to come up or be a big issue or affect her much at all. Thank you, Dirge, for helping me put my thoughts and feelings about this character's bio into words. My brain is alphabet soup, and I am using a fork to eat it. Marie's wand, and then there is a generic wand picture from Google. No one cares. And her theme song is words I cannot say. El Camino a Donde Voy by Paulina Godo. Probably said all of that wrong. I apologize. I am a filthy American and I can only speak one language, and even then, I'm not very good at it. But that's it for Marie's bio. We are going to finally move on to Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Beginning. A sound soul dwells within a sound mind and a sound body. Pause. You did not just take a quote from Soul Eater and start your fanfiction off with it. I'm all for making references to other medias in your stories. It's always a fun little nod to the things you like, but can we not just take what is basically the introduction for another series and use it to start your fanfiction? Your Harry Potter fanfiction. This is literally the first sentence of your story, and I already feel like I've gotten whiplash. I don't see the point in using this particular quote to start your story off, other than you wanted to sound smart or cool or something. You don't sound smart or cool, for the record. You could have and should have used the quote about love to start this story, since I think it's about how love is a great strength. I don't know. Trying to define this story's plot is basically impossible. But you could have used something like, I would rather spend one lifetime with you than face all the ages of this world alone. Or, it is good to love many things, for therein lies the true strength. And whosoever loves much performs much, and can accomplish much. And what is done in love is done well. Either of those is a much more intriguing start to the story than Soul Eater quotes. Personally, I like the second one more. It feels like it would tie in better to the theme of this story. And it's a quote from Vincent van Gogh, so it's extra good. I'm not biased. This story begins when Raven and Harry were never born, but it all begins when the Princess of Darkness meets the Half-Blood Prince. Oh, hopefully this doesn't become a pattern of me stopping constantly to complain about something, but I make absolutely zero promises because this bothers me. So, this story was written after she wrote Princess of Darkness, which is the story about Marie and Snape's daughter. So those who follow her would know who Raven is if they've read that story. But for the general audience, the people who just randomly come across this story don't know who Raven is. We know who Harry is, obviously, but not Raven. Also, this sentence is written badly. Not too badly, but it still makes me want to tear my hair out, and I question if you passed your English classes at all. This sentence should be written more like this. This story begins before Raven and Harry were ever born. This is the story of when the Princess of Darkness meets the Half-Blood Prince. But honestly, even that is a weird sentence, and I don't really like it. It would probably be better to just rewrite it completely. Don't bother mentioning Harry or Raven at all, as it's not super necessary to do so. If the story isn't about them, don't bring them up. Neither of them even fucking exist yet. Great Britain. Riddle's residence. Inside the Riddle's family, a woman with dark black hair lays on the bed, coughing and wheezing as her heart is slowly getting worse. Next to her is a child with raven hair that reaches to her back. She wears a long-sleeve sweatshirt with a blue skirt that reaches to her elbows and black socks. She looks at her mother with sorrow and frown as her mother's health gets worse. I cannot and will not keep stopping to correct the grammar. All I'm going to say is, get and use Grammarly. I'm begging you. I might have a counter for how many grammar mistakes there are, or not, because I might overload my computer and make it crash when I try to edit this. But see if you guys can keep track of how many fucking mistakes there are. Maybe I'll mark this up like an English teacher later for shits and giggles. But I will say that this isn't a great start to the story. Marie. Mom, why doesn't father do anything to help you? Sophie. He is, it's just, no one wants to help us. Marie. Why? Sophie. Because no one likes your father. Marie, dear, promise me one thing. Marie. Anything, Mom. Sophie. Promise me you'll find the man who will love you for who you are. Marie. I promise, Mum. I am trying so hard not to laugh at how fucking ridiculous this is, but it is so hard. You are trying so hard to make this a sad, meaningful moment. Marie is watching her mother die and is wondering why her father isn't helping. Probably doesn't understand at all what her father does, but this... There's no nice way to say this. It sounds stupid. The dialogue, the lack of awareness you have for the canon characters, as if Voldemort wouldn't torture or force people to do whatever was needed to save his wife. He'd probably even get his followers to get people to help Sophie. But, big but here, Voldemort is literally incapable of feeling love. So for those of you who don't know, he is the result of SA. His mother fell in love with some dude, spiked him with love potions so he would love her back, did that for years until she got pregnant and then stopped because she thought if he knew she was pregnant, he would stay with her. That didn't happen, obviously. And because Voldemort was conceived while his father was under the influence of drugs, basically, he came out the womb with the inability to feel love, or really any emotion, I think. Which, that whole situation is another conversation for another video. What would make more sense is Voldemort got with Sophie to basically make more pureblood since he's Wizard Mustache Man. She's head over heels in love with him. He's not in love with her, obviously. After giving birth to several children, she falls deathly ill and Voldemort refuses to get her help because her usefulness has been fulfilled and he's just slowly letting her die. Doesn't bother with killing her himself because it's not worth the energy, so while he's gone doing Voldemort things, she's left with her children and dying. She starts regretting everything and makes her child, Marie, the only one who most likely hasn't been completely indoctrinated into Voldemort's cult, promise her to find someone she loves and who loves her just the same. Don't repeat her mistakes, and once you find the one, run away and never return. Boom, I have now made everything you are trying to write align more with canon. I still kept the base idea of Voldemort having a wife, them having kids, having the promise between Sophie and Marie about finding love, and have it all make significantly more sense. The key to breaking canon and writing a fanfiction like this is working out the fine details and connecting all the strings and working out how to make it make sense while still writing what you want to write without sounding stupid. There are very few instances where you can include something that doesn't really make sense but still have a fanfiction be interesting and fun. A good example, oh god, not again. A Harry Potter fanfiction about Harry, a few years after the war, going to the veil that Sirius fell through when he died, going through it himself, and ending up in his little 11-year-old body all the way back in time right before he got accepted into Hogwarts with all his memories intact. Does him going through the veil and going back in time make sense? No, absolutely not. Even the author acknowledges that it doesn't make sense. But it's basically a nothing detail compared to the many chapters of an amazing fanfiction. Before long, Sophie breathes one last time until she soon fell into a deep sleep. Marie cries as her mother lays there, lifeless, not moving and breathing. Mary, bloody, came bursting through the door, seeing that their mother lays on the bed, lifeless. Their father came into the room and noticed it was too late. Sophie Riddle is dead. For a second, I straight up thought that the character's name was Mary Bloody, but no. Bloody is actually the name, or at least the nickname, of one of Marie's siblings. Yes, you heard that right. Their name is Bloody Riddle. I don't know which sibling that is. I'm pretty sure it's the older brother. I'm fucking screaming on the inside. If you want an edgy ass name for them, you could have at least Googled Gothic baby names. Crow, Raven, Lestat, Belladonna, Damien, Onyx, Zena, Nyx, literally anything else. Even as a nickname, it's stupid. If this were an original story with completely original characters and characters were just named shit like this, I could let it slide. But not here. Not in a Harry Potter fanfiction. You sound like you're trying to imitate My Immortal, a notorious Harry Potter trollfic. I actually cannot take you seriously. So after this introduction to the story, we get a time skip to when Marie starts her first year at Hogwarts. King's Cross Station. Marie's POV. I walked with my brother, little sister, and father as he walked us to King's Cross Station. My father is wearing a cloak with a hood so that no one would recognize him at all. But as we arrived, our father looked at us and kneeled down to our height to talk to us. Voldemort. Remember, children, only be friends with Slytherins, understand? Bloody. No worries, father. Most of my friends are Slytherins. Mary. I have no objections to it. Marie. ... Voldemort. Marie. Yes, father. Voldemort. Good. One last hug for me, and I will write to you children. I love you all so much. Pause! So the whole fucking plot of this story, I think, is about Marie finding love, but her father being against it because love is a weakness. So why are you having the character that thinks any kind of love is a weakness say I love you to anyone? That literally doesn't make sense. I'm banging my head against the wall. Do you hate logic, Murillo? Do you enjoy putting next to zero effort into your work, Murillo? 'Cause it sure fucking feels like it. Mary. Oh god. Love you too, Daddy. Oh, I hate that word so much. Bloody. Me too. Marie. Same. I hugged my father one last time and got onto the train with Mary and Bloody. However, my brother left us with his friends while I sat with my sister. Before long, we soon met with a girl with blonde. Narcissa. Hello, I'm Narcissa Black. Mary. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary Riddle. This is my big sister Marie. Narcissa. You two must be the Dark Lord's daughters. Where's your brother? Marie. With his friends. He hates being near us. Mary. Probably because we would embarrass him in front of his friends. But enough about him. So, which house do you want to be in? Narcissa. Slytherin. What about you? Mary. Same. Marie. I'm not sure. My choice is a little different. I just might be in Slytherin, but then again, I could be in Ravenclaw, and if I get placed in Ravenclaw, my father would be disappointed in me. Mary. Oh, Marie, you're exaggerating. Father won't be disappointed in you. He knows that Mother wouldn't allow you to be in Slytherin. True, you may have determination like a Slytherin, but you are more intelligent, creative, and loyal to the family. Besides, Father knows that you would feel safe in Ravenclaw. You're saying this like Lord Voldemort isn't a fictional depiction of Funny Mustache Man. Not even a little bit ago did he tell his daughters that they are only allowed to be friends with those in Slytherin house. What the fuck makes you think he would be even remotely okay with one of his children being in any other house but Slytherin? Yes, there are Death Eaters that are in houses other than Slytherin. Peter Pettigrew is a great example, but these are other people not related to him. I doubt he would be okay at all with his kids being in Ravenclaw or Gryffindor, and definitely not Hufflepuff. And they're the heirs of Salazar Slytherin, because Voldemort is related to Salazar Slytherin. So regardless of their personalities, I feel like being related to the creator of the Slytherin house defaults you to Slytherin, unless Marie asks the hat to put her elsewhere, because it does take what you, the wearer, wants into consideration. That is how Harry ended up in Gryffindor. Otherwise, he would have ended up in Slytherin. Narcissa. And no worries, we'll still talk to you and respect you, because if not, the Dark Lord will come and get us. Don't lie, Narcissa, no you wouldn't. Literally most, if not all of Slytherin House would see her as a blood traitor, related to Voldemort or not, because Voldemort would also most likely see his own daughter as a blood traitor. That's just the basic belief system of Voldemort and his followers. Did you even watch the movies or read the books? Or did you just read fanfiction and decided you knew enough about Harry Potter to write a fanfiction? Marie, thank you. The train soon came to a stopping point, and finally we were going to Hogwarts. We all hopped onto the boats and soon made it to the school, where we were given the tour around the school and finally at the Great Hall to be sorted into our house. The list went on and on until it was Mary and my turn to be sorted. Thank goodness we didn't put our last names there. Professor. Mary. Okay, this is another thing. They would need to say her last name along with Marie. Do you know how common both of those first names are? The answer is very common. Can't just say the first unless they purposely save Mary and Marie for last. But a quick fix to this is to give them their mother's maiden name for school purposes. I know Voldemort has people in the school he could get one of them to fiddle with the paperwork and shit. I don't know how okay it would be during this particular time period for his kids to attend school and openly be his children and have his last name on their documents. I know a lot about the Harry Potter universe, but I don't know that much. I'm sure someone in the comments will lore dump about Harry Potter, so I don't have to do research because I'm too tired and I'm feeling lazy. Mary came up to the stool and sat down as the professor placed the sorting hat on her head. Sorting hat. Ah, you are a very determined girl. You may be kind, but you are far clever than they think. You are, so you won't be fit for Hufflepuff and Gryffindor. No, however, you might fit into Slytherin. My sister went to the Slytherin table where my brother congratulates my sister, until it was my turn now. I walked up to the stool and sat down until the sorting hat was now placed onto my head. Sorting hat. Well now, you must be a very difficult one. Never in my life have I had a child who I can figure out. You may have more determination to beat your opponent, but you are more loyal, kind, intelligent, and creative than I thought. Yes, you are a very difficult child. You may not be fit for Hufflepuff, however, you may be fit for Slytherin or Ravenclaw. Let's see. I know! Ravenclaw! The Ravenclaw students cheered, and I walked to my table when the sorting hat was finally off my head. I kept my head down and walked to my table, but I sat at the very end just for no one to see me. I looked back at the Slytherin table to see my brother a bit disappointed, but my sister slapped his shoulder and glared at him. I turned away from them and let a single tear fall down my cheek. Oh my god. When the feast was over, I walked behind everyone and only paid attention to the important things and went into the girls' dormitory where I picked the corner of the bed so that no one can disturb me. I sat on my bed for a while until someone talked to me. Girl, hi, is it okay if I can lay my bags next to yours? Marie, go ahead. Girl places her bags. My name's Teresa. Just Teresa. Marie. Marie. Teresa. No last name? Marie. I don't like it. Teresa. Oh, well okay. So how's the school so far? Marie. Okay, I guess. Hate being in Ravenclaw. Teresa. Well, it can't be that bad. Well, I'm heading off to bed. Good night, Marie. Good night. And that is it for chapter 1. I'm stopping here. This story is a headache. I cannot read it all in one sitting. I might actually have an aneurysm. My thoughts so far, I don't like it. This is honestly just a really bad story. The idea behind it, I can get behind. Voldemort's child going against her father, finding love, that's a pretty good premise for a story. But the writing is genuinely so bad that if I didn't know any better, I would just write this off as the millionth troll fanfiction and move on with my life. I can only hope that when I get to more recent stories Murillo has written, her writing has improved some. I think Murillo's biggest problem is she doesn't edit what she writes. She just spits out the first thing she thinks of and publishes that. There's no editing done, there's no beta readers, nothing like that. And because she doesn't take the time to edit her chapters after she's written down the basics of what she wants, it comes out really bad, and there's a lot of inconsistencies. I would also like it if Murillo designed her characters instead of just grabbing images from Google. She doesn't have to draw them herself, I would be okay with her using doll makers, just so the characters have their own personal flair to them rather than just random bitch 15 from Google Images, Basically, all I'm asking is Murillo actually put some effort into what she makes. Chapter 2, Marie meets Severus Snape. Oh joy! Teresa and I woke up and went to the Great Hall to get some breakfast when I spotted the only person I dislike the most, James Potter. Really? The only person in the entire school? You only dislike one person? James Potter? Okay. He was the most laziest, arrogant, pathetic witch here at Hogwarts, and I know it because he plays around. I usually ignore his childish acts, picking on many students and especially taking things too far just to get a girl's attention. Okay, pause. She's been at school for like a day, right? They haven't even had classes yet. Unless there's been a time skip and you just haven't told us, Murillo. But how does Marie know James is all of these things if she doesn't even know him? Has she met him before they started school? I doubt it, considering who Marie's father is. Anyways, Murillo is writing Marie to automatically hate James because Severus is her love interest. And if you know Harry Potter, you know that James and Severus despise each other. They both bully each other constantly. It's a common writing trope I notice in Harry Potter fanfictions when Severus is the love interest for the writer's OC. They automatically make their OC hate James, Sirius, Lupin, Peter, and especially Lily, with zero explanation or real reason. It's a projection of the author's hatred for these characters because they like Severus and they know what happened in Severus's past with the Marauders and Lily, so they just make their OC automatically hate those characters. Listen, I like Severus too. He is my favorite character in Harry Potter, but let's not pretend like Severus isn't also a rancid piece of shit. They all suck for one reason or another. They all did shitty things to each other and were shitty people during their youth. And Severus is still a shitty person. He never grew out of that. But projecting your feelings about these characters onto your OC and having your character act a certain way without having a real narrative reason for it, and it just being your feelings, is lazy writing. You are a lazy and bad writer. I don't care if your OC hates these characters, but you gotta give us a real reason as to why, and not just, they're mean to the character I like in the series, so I gotta have my OC hate them because they're mean to Severus and I don't like it. That's idiocy. If you're gonna write Marie to hate these characters because they're mean to Severus, you gotta actually write out their interactions and show us why. Like, save the weird hate boner for James until later in the story when Severus and Marie are building a relationship and she is seeing the way they treat him. And they most likely start treating her badly too because she's friends with Severus and defends him fiercely. I know they were never really mean to Lily, like in the canon, when she was actively defending Cerberus and was his friend, but that's also because James liked Lily. So, my point still stands. I know it says she hates him because he pulls pranks on people and takes it too far just to get girls' attention, but it's a rather lazy explanation when the story just completely skips over the interactions they've had. It really does just come off as a lazy excuse as to why Marie doesn't like James, especially when none of the other Marauders are mentioned. James wasn't the only one fucking around pulling pranks and bullying Cerberus. If anything, Sirius was significantly worse about it than James was. I know James was the only one mentioned because he stole Lily from Cerberus and is the reason she's not his friend anymore and why he's alone. Put "is the reason" in quotes, because obviously James wasn't the reason. The reason was Cerberus was being a fucking cuntbag. End of story. Sorry for the tangent, this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves in stories. Having character A hate character B right off the bat for idiotic or no reason. The same shit happened in Miraculous Ladybug when Lila was introduced. It's annoying, and please just put some fucking effort into your writing. Oh my god. I continued to talk to Teresa for a while until I noticed a boy I haven't seen in the school. He had rather almost long, greasy black hair with two beautiful black eyes. His skin was pale and he was a Slytherin. Some may say he was rather pathetic, but I think he's handsome. I watch him sat with his house next to a boy with long blonde hair that happens to tie his long hair in a ponytail. I don't know why that was relevant. Why do we need to know that Lucius was tying his hair in a ponytail? I don't think that matters, but okay. I ignore the blonde boy and focus on the black-haired boy until Teresa brought me back to reality. I hate this description. Something about it is rubbing me the wrong way, and I don't like it. Also, I'm shocked, but also not shocked that Marie doesn't know who Lucius is. I think even at this time, he's one of the Dark Lord's loyal followers, so how does she not know who her father's followers are? Unless for some reason he's keeping her from the Death Eaters, but that wouldn't make sense? I guess I'm expecting too much. Clearly logic isn't Marilla's specialty. Teresa, Marie, what's wrong? Marie, huh? Oh, sorry, what did you say? Teresa, never mind that, are you alright? Marie, I'm fine, it's just, who's that guy? Teresa, oh, that's just Lucius Malfoy. His family is... Marie, not him, the one with black hair. Teresa, oh, his name is Severus Snape. There's nothing much about him. Why so interested in him? Nothing much about him? That's kind of fucking rude. He's kind of a potion specialist. Damn, at least give the boy some credit, fuck. Marie, I don't know, something about him makes me feel fuzzy. Teresa, well, if you ask me, I think someone may have a small crush. Marie, who? Him? Nah, he's a Slytherin. It will never work. Your father told you to only befriend Slytherins, though. What do you mean it would never work? I guess it's because she's in Ravenclaw, but also, like, she's the Dark Lord's daughter, so I don't necessarily think the Slytherins would care too much. I don't know, trying to logic my way around this is very hard because Murillo's constantly contradicting herself in this story. And obviously the canon contradicts a lot of what Murillo writes as well. It's a modpodge of bullshit and it's a mess. I need to stop trying to logic my way around everything in this story. I'm just gonna drive myself crazy. Teresa, just because he's a Slytherin and you're a Ravenclaw doesn't mean you two can't be together. You two were made for each other. Marie, how would you know? Yeah, exactly. How the fuck would you know? They don't even know each other. They've never even spoken a word to each other. Teresa, I know, so because you both may like the same thing. You two may have something in common. So you're just blatantly assuming that they were made for each other because they might have something in common. Marie, sure, I'm a pureblood. He could be, who knows? Teresa, maybe, but I think you may have a competition. Look, I think you may have competition. Also, how does Teresa know who these people are, but Marie doesn't? Has Marie just managed not to run into any of them at all, but Teresa somehow has? I don't know what's happening. I'm just so confused. I look forward and spotted him talking to a girl that happens to have auburn hair, bright green eyes, and light skin tone. My smile turned into a frown when I saw her talking to Cerberus. She'd have a better chance to win any boy's heart, especially James, because I heard he has a huge crush on her. So you know who James is. You know who Lily is. But somehow you had no idea who Cerberus was until just now? Girl, get it together. None of this makes sense. I ignored them during all classes as I studied underneath a tree, which happened to be alone. Well, at least I'm getting some good laughs out of this. But it's mostly because I'm confused and this is fucking absurd. Jesus Christ. I was quietly reading my book about defense against the dark arts until I noticed Cerberus at a different tree. I got up and watched him read a book that had something to do about potion making. I watched him read for a while until I noticed it was time to go to class. I left and went to the rest of my classes until it was time for dinner. I watched Cerberus for a while now and watched him talk to Lucius Malfoy and Narcissa Black. Those three must have been good friends now, while I only have Teresa as a friend. When dinner was over, we all went to our dorms and I was scribbling in my journal Cerberus's name repeatedly with hearts and a sketch drawing of me and Cerberus together. I just wish I could be the one for him. This is giving stalker vibes. I think Murillo is trying to write this as cute, like, oh, love at first sight, she can't stop thinking about him kind of thing, but it's just creeping me out. Also, I like how this chapter is called Marie Meets Cerberus, but they have yet to actually meet. So far, it's just been Marie creepily staring at Snape from a, I hope, reasonable distance, and writing his name over and over in a notebook. Oh, and we're switching point of views. Wonderful. Cerberus's point of view. Oh joy. I'm not prepared. I'm scared to read how she writes him. Okay. I was in my side of the room reading my book about potion making when Lucius came to visit and sat across my bed. Lucius, what's in your mind, Cerberus? I can tell you haven't been yourself lately. What's wrong? Cerberus, it's nothing really. It's just, there was a girl in particular that looks rather beautiful, even beautiful than Lily. Even more beautiful than Lily. Please edit your writing. Lucius, well, let's hear it, Cerberus. What's her name? What does she look like? Cerberus, I'm not sure what her name is, but I could tell you she has beautiful sky blue eyes, and her skin kind of light tan, if you ask me, and her hair looks silk as a... Lucius, as a black rose. Cerberus, exactly. She looked rather beautiful in Ravenclaw blue. Literally? Who are you and what have you done with Cerberus? The way Murillo writes these characters drives me nuts. This isn't Cerberus and Lucius, this is Cyrus and Lucas. And this dialogue is so cringy is the best word I have for it right now. It's giving shitty Hallmark romance Christmas movie. And I don't like it. The characters are so out of character, it's very annoying to read. I don't think I would mind as much if the story was actually well written, funny, interesting. But it's not. It's just bad. Lucius, as I recall, she may be somebody Narcissa knows. Maybe we can ask her if she knows her. Cerberus, alright, do you think she'll like me? Lucius, well, of course she will. I think you'll be surprised of who she really is. Cerberus, really? You know her name? God, I fucking hate this. Whew. Deep breaths, Yuji. Deep breaths. You can do it. You're okay. Lucius, maybe, but that's for you to find out. Like I said, you'll be surprised of who she really is. So how does Lucius and Narcissa know her, but she doesn't know them? Cerberus, but Lucius, no time for that. We might as well go to bed. We have a ton of stuff to do. Cerberus, alright. We soon went to sleep, but I stayed awake as I think about the girl in Ravenclaw. True, Lily may be pretty, but the girl looked rather beautiful, like a black rose. I have to know what her name is. Please cease. Also, Cerberus didn't just like Lily because she was pretty, if I'm remembering that right. I'm pretty sure he likes her because she was his very first friend. The very first person who gave a singular fuck about him in his existence. It's not just about how pretty she is. Oh, yippee. Back to Marie's point of view. Marie's point of view. I was awake as I look up at the ceiling thinking about Severus Snape. Some may say he's rather ugly, but I think he's handsome to me. I close my eyes and sing a little song to myself. Okay, we get it. Everyone thinks he's ugly and pathetic, but not you, because you're not like other girls. Fucking Christ. Also, the fact that she keeps writing Marie giving Snape backhanded compliments is rubbing me the wrong way. I know she's only done it twice, but writing, oh, people think he's pathetic and ugly, and then writing, but not me, I think he's so handsome, is giving me icky as fuck vibes. You don't have to mention how other people view him before saying how handsome Marie thinks he is. Is anyone else weirded out by this? I'm not crazy. That's weird and gross, right? I'm not reading Marie singing. It's just the lyrics to Sally's song, which again is lazy writing. It's filling up space with song lyrics when you could actually be putting your time into actually putting effort into your story. Wow, such an amazing concept. This is especially annoying because you didn't even write the song. You just took an already existing song and plopped it into the story. If Murillo had wrote her own song and put those lyrics here, I would be less annoyed because at least there would have been some effort put into this. I closed my eyes one last time and fell into a deep sleep, not knowing that someone was watching me from outside the school. Oh my god, that's the end of the chapter. Murillo is really speed-running this romance thing between her OC and Snape, which makes for a very, very irritating read, especially since the characters are so out of character, and it's just so poorly written. I have to keep reminding myself that this is an old version of the story, and I can only hope that the new version of it is better. So far, I am very disappointed in this story, though, and I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Chapter 3, the most adorable bonding ever. I get the feeling this is not going to be adorable. This is just going to make me want to invert my bones. Early in the morning, I went to the Great Hall for breakfast, but I never expected to see Cerberus there as well. What? What the hell do you mean I didn't expect to see Cerberus there as well? You go to the same school. You eat in the same dining hall. Are you high? I walked to my table and sat there while reading a book about defense against the dark arts. I looked where Cerberus is at, and I see him reading a book about potion making. I giggled quietly, but I didn't expect him to hear it so far. Hid my face in the book I was holding and blushed. How could I be foolish to let out... I hate this. I hate this so much. This is the worst. I giggled quietly, but I didn't expect him to hear it so far. Hid my face in the book I was holding and blushed. How could I be foolish to let a small giggle out? I wasn't paying much attention when I placed my book down and almost fell off my chair when I saw Cerberus sitting across from me. How did he do that? By walking. Marie. Hi. Cerberus. Hello. Marie. Not to be rude at all, but what are you doing here? Cerberus, I just wanted to come and talk to you. Marie, oh, well, okay. What is it that you want to talk about? This is the most awkward conversation in the history of conversations. Not even I have had conversations this awkward. Like, come on, get it together. Cerberus, well, for starters, I notice you love Defense Against Dark Arts. Marie, oh, yes, I do. It's one of my passions. Cerberus, are there any other passions you can think of? Marie, well, there's fencing, but the kind of sword battle kind of way. That's what fencing is. It's sword fighting. It's a fucking sword fighting sport. What? Crocheting, charms, transfiguration, and potion making. Cerberus, potion making in Defense Against the Dark Arts is my passion too. The way you write sentences infuriates me. Potion making and Defense Against the Dark Arts are some of my passions as well. That is how that should have been written. You really, really need somebody else to look over your stories before you post them. because the way you write everything is downright obnoxious. Marie, really? Sometime in potion making, it's a lot difficult than I expected. See? Like that! Like that! Sometime in potion making, it's a lot difficult than expected? That's not a proper sentence. Sometimes potion making is a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. Again, it is not that hard. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I just started, and I'm already this close to breaking something. Cerberus, not quite. It's quite easy if you ask me. It's how you do it. If you want, I can teach you how to make a good potion. Marie, thank you. Cerberus, my name is Cerberus. Cerberus Tobias Snape. Marie, giggling. That's a nice name. It really suits you. I hate the giggling in brackets. I hate that so much. Oh, that's the worst. Cerberus, what's your name? Marie, pardon? Cerberus, your name. What is your name? Marie, oh, well, literally just lie. I'm honestly shocked Voldemort didn't come up with a cover name for them if his kid sharing his name is that big of a fucking issue. I don't think realistically it would be, but since Marilla wants to make it a problem for some artificial drama, God, I hate the artificial drama in these stories. There's literally no reason for this problem to exist. And yet it exists, and it is the most annoying goddamn thing about this story. But since Marilla wants to make it a problem, for plot reasons, whatever, that she should also have thought of a way for them to hide this problem instead of just avoiding it altogether like Marie is doing, because this is goddamn annoying. Before long, students were coming, and I only got a piece of paper and a feather with ink to write on. I wrote something on the paper and left it for him to know. I got up and left the Great Hall, where I walked all the way to Ravenclaw's common room. Wait. Did she just write her fucking name on a piece of paper? She better not have, because I swear to God, if she just wrote her name on a piece of paper, something that anyone could see, in spite of the fact that she's been very against sharing her full name with anyone, I'm going to be pissed. Also, why didn't she just tell him her first name? Her first name does not matter. It's the last name that she's worried about, because it's Riddle. Same as Voldemort. I don't know, this is ridiculous. Cerberus's point of view. Oh boy, Cerberus's point of view. Yay! I turn around and notice that the girl is gone. I looked around and noticed a piece of paper left on the table. I picked it up and opened the flap to see what was written, and it was from her. Also, how did she manage to slip away from him? Yeah, there were people coming into the Great Hall, but I don't imagine that would be a sufficient enough distraction for him to look away from her for long enough that she was able to write something down on a piece of paper and get up and leave. Now, if somebody came over and talked to him, I would believe that more, like Lucius or Bellatrix or somebody. But the way this is written, it just sounds like, you know, they were sitting there having a conversation. People started going into the Great Hall, but they're still, like, actively looking at each other. She scribbles something on a piece of paper, gets up and leaves, and for some reason, he just didn't notice. This is stupid. Just call me your Black Beauty. Never mind, I would have preferred her name. This is worse. This is objectively worse. This isn't cute. This is the bad kind of cringe. Giving yourself a fucking pet name for someone else to call you is fucking weird. That's like if I told someone I was interested in to call me their native princess instead of just telling them my first fucking name. That's weird. Also, before anyone gets on my ass, I'm literally Native American. I can make that joke, so you shush. Also, I really hope everyone curled in on themselves when I said that, because I did typing it and saying it. Had to force myself not to gag. That was horrible. But want to know what would have been a funny way for her to bond with him and get around outright telling him her name? If she were to leave him riddles. That's ignoring the fact that he could just go ask someone, like a teacher, her fucking name. But if we want to play this stupid fucking game of, oh, I can't tell you, then her leaving him clues and riddles to figure out her name would be a great way for them to bond, I think. Marie could have been written to be this mysterious, intelligent, sly character to Cerberus, and as he tries to get to know her, she invites him to play a game with her. He cannot ask anyone anything about her, and she'll leave him riddles and clues to who she is as a person, and it starts this really great back and forth between them. It's fun, it's flirty, and it's actually cute as hell. Tell me that's not adorable as fuck. I dare you. I'm taking this idea and using it for something. That's a great fucking idea. Screw you, it's mine now. And there was a drawn image of a rose. I soon thought about the roses and left the great hall to head into the secret garden I found that had many black roses. This must mean that the roses here must be her favorite kind of roses. I walked away from the garden and went to my classes to see the same girl sitting next to Narcissa. Strange. She's a Slytherin and the girl is a Ravenclaw. Who is she, I wonder? I was beginning to think about the possibilities of who could she be, but everything about her is a mystery, beautiful yet mysterious at the same time. She truly is a mystery to me. You have said the word mystery too many times. Try and think of different ways to write sentences so you're not repeating the same word over and over again in a single sentence. Cerberus, smirk, whisper to himself, I hate the actions in brackets. Stop it. Someday nope. I hate this. Oh, I hate this. I hate this more than I Am the Luna. I hate this more than Blue Moon's song. I hate this. This is truly the worst story I have ever read in the history of my YouTube career. And I've read Sonic Mpreg before. But this is the worst. Someday, my black beauty, I hate this. You will be discovered. I hate this! And I'm going to find out who you really are. You may think you could keep it a secret, but I will find out who you truly are. I hate this. I do not like how this is written. I do not like how Murillo is writing Cerberus. It's setting off my red flag radar. It's just, ew, 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 ew. And we're back to Marie's point of view. Cool. Great. Marie's point of view. I almost felt like someone was staring at me, but whenever I turn around, I don't see anyone staring at me. I turned back and continued with my assignment. I got to work and I finally finished it. I was allowed to leave early and walk to the courtyard where I studied my next class until I felt a presence near me. I looked up and spotted a man with blonde hair like Narcissa, only he wasn't a she. No, really? It's not like you just said you spotted a man. You don't think when you write, do you? He walked towards me, and I had my hand on my wand in case he tried to attack, but instead he bowed to me and spoke. Lucius, it's an honor to meet one of Felix's little sisters. My name is Lucius Malfoy, and I shall be loyal to you, Miss Riddle. Ew, be gone, thought. Marie, sigh. Stand up, Lucius. You don't have to be so formal to me. I already know who you are. Narcissa talks about you. If Marie already knew who he was, then you shouldn't have written it to sound like she had no clue who the fuck he was. I spotted a man with blonde hair. I put my hand on my wand in case he tried to attack are sentences that imply she doesn't know who this is and what his intentions are. But if Maria knew who he was, then she would also know that he is a fucking Death Eater. Lucius stands up. She does. Marie, yes. She practically talks about you all the time. I think she has a huge crush on you. Lucius, how would you know, Marie? Marie, well, Narcissa did admitted to me that she has a huge crush on you, and how you are more handsomer Slytherin than the others. Handsomer? What are you, 5? And how you are very handsome, more than any man she has met. You need someone else to go over this and fix your mistakes, because this is getting to the point where it's infuriating to read what you write. If I didn't do this as a job, I would not give this story a second glance. I would read the first chapter, go, oh, this is fucking garbage, and move on with my goddamn day, and go read something that's actually competent and fun to read. Lucius, is that so? Marie, yep. You should probably talk to her. She really likes you. But don't tell her I told you about how she really likes you. Lucius, my lips are sealed. We should probably get to class before we get into trouble. Marie, you're right. As we walked to our next classes, most of them felt boring, and I only just read a book. After a while, it was already dinner time, and I was sitting next to Teresa. She was basically talking so much about fashion and colors, while I just pretended to be a bit interested in all that stuff. However, when I noticed James and Sirius whispering mean things about Cerberus, I had to use magic. First of all, how the fuck can you hear them whispering above the entire Great Hall? Everyone in this school is in there right now eating dinner. It is going to be loud. Unless you are sitting directly behind them, this doesn't make sense at all. Only in a secretly way. In a secret way. Learn the English language. I beg of you. I thought of the first spell that popped up to my head and said the words quietly. Marie whispers. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Oh? My God. That is not a fucking spell. You sound like a fucking child. This isn't the cool moment you probably think it is. This just sounds fucking stupid. Liar, liar, pants on fire? Are you fucking serious? You want her to cast a spell but not have anyone really know what she's fucking doing? How about you have her do wordless magic? Or, even fucking better, she's Voldemort's kid. You know what that means? She could speak Parseltongue. Have her cast spells in Parseltongue. Okay, you know how you could have actually made this kinda cool while keeping this liar, liar, pants on fire thing? Have it so she's sitting there, barely listening to Teresa. She's looking around the Great Hall, just occupying her thoughts. She glances at where Cerberus is and smiles, because that's her love interest. Duh. She notices him glance in the direction of the Marauders. So she also glances that way, only to see them huddled together, whispering and gesturing towards Snape. But she can't hear what they're saying. So very discreetly, she casts a spell so she could focus in on what they're saying specifically. And here's them basically talking shit and planning to spread rumors about Snape for one of their pranks. Probably writing howlers to have delivered to the dining hall that will just scream things like, I heard Severus Snape never bathes. I heard Severus Snape wets himself. Just shit like that. She's sitting there listening to this, and she starts to get mad. She's flicking her wand back and forth in her hand when she finally hears enough of them and mumbles to herself, trying not to call attention to what she's about to do. Liar, liar's pants on fire. And then she hisses in Parseltongue while flicking her wand towards the four boys, setting their letters and their clothes on fire. It's still a bit ridiculous, but it's significantly better sounding than her using liar, liar, pants on fire as an actual fucking spell. Before long, a little spark of fire was on the bottom of his pants, and it took him 6 seconds to finally notice it. He soon dropped and rolled around while Slytherin students were laughing. I looked at Cerberus, and he looked at me, just so he could see me wink at him. He smiled, and I just giggled a bit until the fire was finally out and James left the Great Hall with Sirius and Peter following him. Cerberus's point of view. The minute I see James trying to put out the fire was the most hilarious thing I ever saw. I looked at the girl I talked to just to see her laughing as well, but saw me and winked at me. It took me a few seconds, but I finally realized it. She did it. I smiled and watched James get up and walk away with Peter and Sirius following him. I looked back at her and watched her talk to her friend and laugh. Just who is this girl? God, that's the end of the chapter. These just keep getting worse. I cannot handle how bad these chapters are. I cannot handle how poorly written all these characters are. This is driving me absolutely nuts. I have to remember, this was written years ago. She's working on a new version of the story. Hopefully the new version fixes a lot of the problems that exist in this story, but honestly, I do not have high hopes. Chapter 4, Marie vs. James. Oh boy! An entire chapter that's going to be dedicated to trying to make Marie look cool and badass instead of a chapter that has any sort of plot significance. Hooray! Marie's point of view. During Defense Against the Dark Arts, our professor was talking to us about disarmed magic and how it works. He asked us for 2 volunteers and I raised my hand up in the air, and soon enough he picked me. Oh, so we're just getting right into the nonsense. Oh boy, I can't wait. Professor, excellent. Marie, come on up. Now, who shall battle with Marie? I look around to see no one wanted to volunteer until I spoke to the professor. Marie, perhaps if I can pick who I want to battle with? Professor, an excellent idea, Marie. Who do you choose? Marie, I choose Potter. Everyone looked at James, and he looked a bit terrified. Why? You have written 0 interactions between these two, especially ones that would have James reacting to having to fight Marie with fear. You have given us 0 reasons to believe that Marie makes James scared. Don't you fucking say the fire incident from the last chapter, because you wrote, and I quote, "However, when I noticed James and Sirius whispering mean things about Cerberus, I had to use magic, only in a secretly way." You writing James to be scared here doesn't sound cool, it sounds stupid. You sound stupid. Maybe if you took the time to actually write out their interactions and showing us what their relationship is like, this wouldn't sound as stupid. But right now, stupid. But cool down when he got up on stage and came to the center where I was. Our wands were up, we both bowed, then we walked a few steps until we were facing each other. The professor counted down for us, and the second he said 3, I let James attack first. James, Expelliarmus! Expelliarmus is spelled wrong, there's no O. I'm being picky right now, but the amount of grammatical errors and spelling errors in Murillo's writing is actually driving me up the fucking wall. I'm getting sick of it. No one's point of view. Just when James strikes her with one blow, Marie only lifted her arm up and made it look like she was going to stop it, and it turns out she stopped it. It stayed on her hand for a while until it was gone. Marie placed her arm down slowly when it was back up just to deflect another attack from James, and again, and again, and again. Okay, listen. I know she's Voldemort's kid, right? Which means he's probably been training her and her siblings since they were young, so they're all probably very advanced magic users, but I'm detecting some bullshit. Mainly because you've taken 0 time to actually develop your OC, Murillo. I would feel so much differently about this and everything else about this character had Murillo actually taken the time to develop her OC and how she became so powerful and how she's able to do the things she does. Instead of just writing whatever bullshit came to mind first in a sad attempt to make the OC badass. She's not badass. She's underdeveloped, poorly written Mary Sue garbage. Until Marie lifted her wand up and attacked him with Expelliarmus, and this time he didn't have time to deflect it. He was sent up in the air and landed on his back when he reached to the end of the stage and fell. Many Slytherins laughed at that, while Marie just stood there and watched James come up again, trying to knock Marie off the stage, but no matter how many times he does it, it doesn't work. When he gave up, Marie only walked down the steps and walked away when class was dismissed. Cerberus's point of view. I wasn't paying much attention to the battle, but when it was over I looked up and didn't know who was facing who, until I heard Lucius talk to Narcissa about it. Lucius, no wonder why he cares for her. She's truly one of a kind. Narcissa, she is indeed. It may be possible that no wizard will be able to lay a hand on her. Cerberus, what do you mean by no wizard will be able to lay a hand on her? Lucius, you weren't much paying attention, but the girl you were talking about battled with Potter. Turns out she knows how to use wandless magic. Cerberus, but it takes years to master it. Narcissa, yes indeed, but she has been able to master it at age of 10. Cerberus, how do you know that? Narcissa, she told me. Her father taught her how, and she soon learned it that quick. Gee, would have really loved that conversation, to get some actual character development and backstory for her upbringing. Cerberus, do you know who she is? Narcissa, maybe, but I won't tell you. But why? I don't understand the need for this secrecy. This is stupid. This is a stupid attempt at making Marie mysterious. I hate it. Cerberus, Narcissa, please tell me. All I know is that she's called Black Beauty. Cringe. Narcissa, smart choice for a nickname. As I recall, Black Beauties are known as Black Roses. Cringes harder. Cerberus, that's all I know. She loves crocheting, fencing. She's amazing, and when I talked to her, she really enjoyed my presence near her. Do you think that's a good sign? Narcissa, it may be. She really does fancy you after all. You do act like a gentleman towards her. Cerberus, yes, I see what you mean. I'll try to talk to her again. Oh, dear fucking God. No one's point of view. As Cerberus walks away, the two Slytherin students were surprised that Cerberus didn't ask about her liking him. As for Marie, she does not know about Cerberus liking him. You mean her. Marie's trans now, guys! It's canon! Little did those two haven't known is that their lives are about to change. Will Cerberus choose to be with Lily Evans or Marie? Will those two ever confess to each other? Will someone buy me some French fries? Ha, just kidding. Don't buy me French fries. Find out on the next chapter from Harry Potter and the Queen of Darkness. Favorite, comment, share. Did you seriously fucking end this like it was an episode of Total Drama Island? Did you seriously just monologue at me to end your chapter? I'm going fucking insane, guys. I cannot. Also, my hope that her new version of the story would be better than this has died. I recently went to Marilla's page and skimmed through one of her newest stories, which honestly probably should have done that in the first place just to see how her writing compares to her older stories, but the story I skimmed was a Stormhawk self-insert fanfiction, and her writing is still just as bad as it was almost 10 years ago now. So that's incredibly disappointing. She has been writing since at least 2015, and she has not improved basically at all. I think her grammar has improved a little, but I'd have to actually sit down and read the story fully to be 100% sure of that. And I don't really want to read the Stormhawks fanfiction because I haven't watched the cartoon in forever, so I don't really understand what's going on. Maybe I'll stream Stormhawks in the Discord server so I can have people to watch it with me because, man, I loved that show when I was a kid. Stork is my favorite character. Still. Love him. On the plus side, though, that means my commentary on this fic still has meaning, and I'm not just unnecessarily screaming into the void about how bad this is. 2 years later, me. Sorry if I had to skip that far. I cannot believe you just time skipped me. And what do you mean if you had to skip that far? If? I hate unnecessary time skips. I hate them. It's just an excuse for you to be lazy. Lazy writers are bad writers. I was wandering around the school for a bit when I spotted James going somewhere with his boys. I followed them until I noticed they were going to where Cerberus was. He was only sitting there reading a book. I watched when James knocked his wand out of his hand, levitate him up in the air until he was about to take things too far. I came out of hiding and knocked his wand out. Everyone looked at me and wondered where I came from, but that didn't matter. What matters is teaching James a little lesson he will never forget. Marie glares. James Potter! James. Oh, come on, Marie. We were just playing. So, you just sat there watching them bully Cerberus? Some love interest she is, watching the person she likes get tormented and harassed until it suits her. Marie, playing my ass, you're about to take things too far to this poor man. How could you? You should be ashamed of yourself. You're nothing but a bully. Shoves James back a bit. A jerk. Shoves him again. Lazy, arrogant, weak. Shoves him again harder. And most of all, a big show-off. I shoved him one last time. He fell into the water where most of the boys laughed at him a little, and I was still glaring at him. I walked towards where Cerberus was and lifted him down gently. Once that was done, I grabbed James' wand and threw it at him when he was out of the water. Marie, and I expect you to be more of a gentleman like Severus Snape. Now I suggest you leave before I make things even worse for you. Oh, this is such a headache. Oh, I'm cringing. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. No one's point of view. Once James, Sirius, Peter, and Remus looked at Marie, they saw something they haven't seen before. Next to Marie was a woman dressed as a monoclown with long black hair, gray eyes, long claws, and finally, she was holding a bloody chainsaw. The monoclown smirked and started up her chainsaw just enough to scare the four of them and cause them to run away like cowards. Marie's point of view. I felt Laughing Jill. No, pause. Excuse me? Laughing Jill? You put a fucking creepypasta character in here? Why? What was the point? You could have used this opportunity to show that Marie by herself is a force to be reckoned with, someone to be feared, but instead you put a fucking creepypasta character in here? I am beyond upset. I'm not even against crossovers. Crossovers are fun. I have a few planned myself, but this just came out of fucking nowhere. Laughing Jill is just here for no reason. You cannot just add things in without thought! You sound like a fool! I felt Laughing Jill go into my shadow as I waited for everyone to head back to the school except for Cerberus. I looked back at him and noticed he may have not saw what James and his friends saw. Good. Marie, are you alright? Cerberus. Yes, thank you for saving my life. Don't be dramatic. Your life wasn't in danger, just your pride. Marie, anything for a friend. My name's Marie. Cerberus, no last name? Marie, I don't love my last name. Cerberus, it couldn't be that bad. Marie, but it is. Cerberus, you could tell me. I won't tell anyone about your last name. I promise. Marie, alright. My last name is Riddle. Wait, but... What? What is going on? Did you just forget about the events of the previous chapters? Them talking, her giving him the note. She has been so reluctant to give her full name to anyone, and now she's just giving it up? This is why you shouldn't have skipped forward in time by 2 fucking years. You make it this whole big deal about her name only to just give it up 5 chapters in? Cerberus, your Lord Voldemort's daughter. Marie, go ahead. Run away like the others do. Fucking gag me. Cerberus, I'm not running away. I think you're special. Marie, what's so special about being Voldemort's daughter? Cerberus, it may not be special, but you're the one that's special to him. You're unique and pretty. Ugh, fucking kill me. Marie, blush. Thank you. No one has ever said that to me. Ever. Cerberus, smile. I guess I'm the first. Marie, smile. Don't worry about James and his friends. I'll protect you, even if it means you want to protect yourself. What? Cerberus, thank you. Maybe you could teach me a lot more about Defense Against the Dark Arts. Marie, I could try, but I have to warn you, I don't battle to win. I battle to get even. Cerberus and I walked to the school, and we separated when we reached the Great Hall, where I sat next to Teresa and spoke about what happened to Cerberus. Teresa thought it was brave of me to stand up for Cerberus, and how I managed to teach James a little lesson he will never forget. Now and then, whenever James sees me, he sometimes gets a little scared and tries to avoid me. He even doesn't feel like picking on Cerberus anymore. Soon enough, I managed to introduce Cerberus to my brother and sister. I think this chapter should have been before the duel between her and James. That would make more sense story-wise, because at least then we would have a reason for James to be a little scared or nervous around Marie. Just get rid of the name shit, because again, you've already established that she doesn't want to reveal her last name. You could at least have some build up before she reveals her identity to Cerberus. God! Marie, Cerberus, this is my big brother Felix and my little sister Mary. Cerberus, it's a pleasure to meet you. Mary, the pleasure's all ours. I hope to see you can make Marie very happy. Felix, yes. You see, my sister is like a fragile doll. If you ever break... I had to slap my big brother for what he was about to say about me liking Cerberus. It would be embarrassing if Cerberus found out. Felix, just don't hurt her feelings or I will come after you. Felix left and Mary had to go somewhere, so it left us with me and Cerberus. We both hanged at the courtyard, where we both study mostly and have a little chat for a while. But on this day, I was walking joyfully to the courtyard to meet Cerberus when I spotted him talking to Lily. I hid behind a pillar and listened to their conversation. Okay, I need a pause because in the middle of reading this, I just got, like, an idea for how, like, her identity could have been revealed, and it would have actually been really interesting and cool. So, canonically, Cerberus joins up with the Dark Lord, right? He becomes a Death Eater. What if she spent this whole time taking him in circles trying to figure out who she is, only for it to be revealed at a Death Eater meeting? Like, I know the Death Eaters usually wear masks, but what if Voldemort's children didn't, and they were all standing behind him or next to him as he was addressing the Death Eaters? And Cerberus is there, you know, wearing his mask, you know, like all the Death Eaters do, and he sees her! And it clicks for him why she hasn't wanted to tell him who she is. I think that would be such a great reveal. Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing! But no! I got this shit instead! You could have done so much! You could have made this such a good, interesting story, but no! I'm getting slop instead! I'm actually so upset about this. Oh my god. Anyways. Lily. Sev, I don't quite understand why you've been so distant from me. Is there something wrong? Cerberus. No, Lily, there isn't. It's just, how come you didn't come to my rescue, but instead Marie did? Lily. Well, Cerberus. Oh, I see now. You didn't come to my rescue because you made a deal with Potter, didn't you? Lily. No, I didn't. I swear, Sev, I didn't make a deal with him. Cerberus. Then why didn't you stop him? Lily. Because... I need to pause again. It's been a long time since I've watched any of the movies or read the books. But isn't it canon that Lily did go up and yell at James and them for what they were doing to Cerberus? 'Cause I'm pretty sure she did. And then he yelled at her and called her a mudblood, and that's kind of when their friendship officially fell apart. Right? That's what happened, canonically, right? I'm pretty sure. Ugh. What a headache this story is. I wouldn't mind the breaking of canon so much if it wasn't written like slop. Like, complete and utter nonsense. Like, in order to break canon without, like, your audience being completely bitch-slapped, you gotta be very strategical about it. Or, like, at least be funny. Like, you can't just write whatever and expect us to just kind of enjoy the story. At least in my opinion. I feel like if you're gonna be doing stuff like this, if you're gonna be writing stuff like this, you gotta have some tact to it. Cerberus, you know what? My mistake for accepting you as a friend. I thought we were best friends, Lily, but I guess I was wrong. Lily. Sev. Cerberus, I never want to see you again, you filthy little mudblood. Before long, Lily just ran away and cried while I hid myself behind the pillar and listened as Cerberus walked away, not knowing I was listening to their conversation. I let a single tear fall down my cheek as I stood up and walked to my dormitory, but as I was walking over there, I sang my special song. God, what is with the melodramatics? And stop with the singing! It takes up space and time and no one cares! I'm not reading the singing. I'm going to leave it on screen, and you can read it for yourself. It's just more lyrics from, I think it's still The Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't know. It's been years since I've seen that movie. But I did buy the Twisted Tales book, Sally's Lament, recently. I haven't gotten very far, but I have it. As I made it to my dormitory, I was about to say the password when suddenly I sensed a presence near me. I looked behind me and spotted James standing there glaring at me. Marie, what do you want, Potter? James, just to ask why you called Lily a mudblood. Marie, I didn't call her that. James, oh yes you did alright. You made her cry, didn't you? Why does James assume it was Marie who called Lily that? I assume it was just added in here to add drama to the story. Marie, I didn't. You must have the wrong wizard. Go back to where you belong with your stupid griffin dorks. James, you leave me no choice. I got out my wand as quick as I can and battled with James. After a while, I thought I had him. When suddenly he knocked me out of the ground where James was about to shoot some kind of hex. When suddenly his wand was knocked out, and he noticed somebody standing behind him. I looked up and spotted who I didn't think would save my life. Severus Snape. Again, stop being so dramatic. Your life was not in danger. Just your pride and probably your bones. Also love that we just skip over all the fighting and drama. Just great. I am so fed up with this story, skipping over everything and adding in random shit that doesn't make sense. Like, seriously, what the fuck was Laughing Jill doing here? What was the point? I don't understand. You gotta work on thinking your stories through more carefully. We can't just be adding in things just because you thought of them. You end up with a complete mess of a story when you do that. If I added in every single idea and thought I had into a story I was writing, it would become nonsense and unreadable. Based on your other stories I've been kinda looking at, it seems you've at least started lengthening your stories a good bit. But the question remains, is the length actual story, or is it just nonsense and filler and song lyrics to make it appear like you're working harder on the story when in fact you're not? But that was chapter 5 of The Queen of Darkness. I didn't have too much commentary this round. I'm just flabbergasted at the absolute insanity I'm reading. Chapter 6, Cerberus versus James. Joy. Marie's point of view. James, well, if it isn't the snake of them all. That's so terrible. Cerberus, stay away from Marie. James, and why should I? It isn't like she's your girlfriend or anything. Cerberus, shut up, she's more than that. I don't know if I can make it through this line with a straight face. Oh, I'm gonna try. Whew. Shut up, she's more than that. She's my Black Beauty, and you will not harm her. I challenge you to a duel. I broke near the end. Oh, I couldn't do it. Oh my god, that is so fucking cringe. Yo, that doesn't make Snape sound cool or heroic. If anything, that just makes him sound like a fucking loser. Motherfucker sounds like a goddamn incel. Oh my god, you know what this reminds me of? Hang on, I'm gonna go find the TikTok and put it in here. And for the record, I'm not sorry.
Can y'all stop?
What do you want, narc?
Take a shower.
Can't. I'm pheromone-maxing.
This isn't you, Bubba. You don't get to talk to my alpha that way.
What?
It's okay. This isn't you, Daddy.
I'll step down for my lady, but this won't be the last you see of me.
Thank you, Bubba.
Do that thing out. Oh.
This couple right here. I don't know if they're serious or not, but the way Marie and Cerberus interact and talk about each other in this story, it's giving this. You don't want to give this. This is bad. What the fuck? Oh, just the image of Cerberus saying that so seriously to James Potter. Probably while James's friends are standing right there. No, I can't. I can't do it. Oh, good lord. Ooh, that was bad. Okay. James, bring it on, Snake. James and Cerberus went on back and forth during their battle, while I only sat there watching them battle back and forth for a while. God damn, stop repeating yourself. When suddenly Cerberus managed to knock him off the ground and let James land on the ground up against the wall. Cerberus walked back to help me, and when suddenly the professors arrived and asked one of us who started it. James was about to falsely accuse Cerberus when I spoke up. Marie, James did it! He attacked me first and then Cerberus came to save my life! The professors didn't know what to say, but they soon decided to take points from James and give points to Cerberus for standing up to me. The professors left with James following them, while Cerberus walked me to my dormitory, but I stopped and spoke to him. Marie, thank you for saving my life. Seriously, why does Murillo keep making it sound like their lives were in danger? James is a dickhead, yeah, but he wasn't a murderer. And generally, he was a dickhead with reason. It's canon that Cerberus was helping other Slytherins torture muggles in the basement and was making an effort to join the Dark Lord's army. Like, James and the others did bully the fuck out of him for a reason. Snape wasn't a good person. If you wanted to rewrite that narrative, then you gotta show us that Snape was just some awkward kind of angsty teen who just wanted to be left alone with a girl he liked. Lily Evans. Cerberus, I just did what I did. Marie, but you were brave to stand up to him. Cerberus, thanks. Marie, just take it as a compliment of me saying you are very brave. Cerberus, blush a little. I hate that. Hate it. Good night, Marie. Good night. Before long, I kissed him on the cheek and said the password. I entered Ravenclaw dormitory and smiled. I couldn't believe I did that. I kissed Cerberus on the cheek. I soon calmed myself down and went up to my side of the bed, changed into my nightdress, and went to sleep. For future reference, Ravenclaw dorms don't have normal passwords like the rest of the dorms. You have to solve a riddle to get into their dorm, because, you know, Ravenclaw students are intellectual, creative, and curious. Those are the defining traits of Ravenclaw students. The very next day, I woke up from my sleep, got changed into something I would normally wear since it's a Saturday. I put on a black spaghetti strap dress with the skirt that reaches up to my knees, black leggings, black heels, and I brought my sweater with me just in case it gets cold. I went downstairs and left to go get breakfast when I spotted Cerberus talking to Lucius and Narcissa. I waved hello at them, and they waved back. I walked to my table and told Teresa about what happened, and she was overwhelmed by the end where I told her I kissed Cerberus on the cheek. She told me that Cerberus wanted me to meet him at the same place where I introduced myself to him. I only nodded and walked all the way to the tree where Cerberus was hanging upside down. I waited for a while until he finally arrived. Marie, hi. Cerberus, hey. Marie, I heard from my friend Teresa you wanted to talk to me. Cerberus, yes, well, maybe this is a good time to teach you a few tricks of potion making. Marie, of course. Cerberus and I sat and he taught me a few tricks I can use at potion making to be able to pass the class and get a good grade. We both soon lay on the ground just watching the clouds pass by while I showed him a little trick of my own. Wouldn't it be best for them to be practicing potion making in the potions classroom, where all the equipment is? Marie, want me to show you something cool? Cerberus, go ahead. Marie, deep breath. Expecto Patronum. Before long, a beautiful white tiger appeared and moved around them. Soon it finally disappeared, and I looked at Cerberus with wide eyes, and his mouth was open. I got close to him and closed his mouth for him. Marie, close your mouth. You might catch some flies. Cerberus, that's incredible. You have to teach me that. Marie, and I will. You just have to think happy thoughts. Something that makes you happy. Cerberus, but I don't know what. Marie, don't think Cerberus. Just do it. I watched Cerberus concentrate for a bit until he finally mastered it. His Patronus was a doe. It pranced around for a bit, until it soon faded away. I looked back at him and smiled. I know he has a bit feeling for Lily, but what can I do? I walked towards Cerberus and placed my hand on his hand that was holding his wand. Marie, it's okay. I know you still may have feelings for her. Cerberus, I just wish she could forgive me for what I said. Marie, you know, Cerberus, if she doesn't want to forgive you, it's her loss. If I were her, I would forgive you. I know you didn't mean to say that to her. Forgiving someone for calling you a slur doesn't make you the better person. Really, Lily doesn't have to forgive him for calling her a slur, 'cause that's what mudblood is. It's a slur. Whether he meant it or not, he still called her something terrible. Someone she thought was her friend said one of the worst things you could have said to her. That's not really forgivable. If he wanted forgiveness, he'd have to not only give the sincerest apology ever known to man, but he'd also have to prove he doesn't actually think or believe the shit pureblood spew. Like, it's a lot more complicated than, oh, if I was in her position, I'd forgive you. Not to mention that it's so holier than thou of Marie to say that. She doesn't really get to say that, honestly. She comes from an extreme place of privilege. Not only is she considered a pureblood, Pure blood logic. As long as you pretend the muggles in your family don't exist and remove any muggles from the family tree, they never existed and you are pure. But she's also Lord Voldemort's daughter. She doesn't even come close to understanding the type of discrimination Lily faces for being muggle-born in the world of wizards. So really, Marie should keep her fucking mouth shut. Cerberus, it just came out and that was it. Marie, I'm sure someday she's forgive you. I hugged Cerberus and let him cry on my shoulders while I was starting to feel something. My heart that made me feel fuzzy. No one's point of view. Little did Raven? Raven's the name of her daughter. You mixed up the names here. That's supposed to say Marie. I'm gonna fix that. Little did Marie and Cerberus didn't know is that the both of them somehow have a strong bond with each other. But what they don't know is that 4 kids were watching them from afar. Mary, how long till father finds out? Felix, who knows? But we have to keep father away from the school. He's getting weak from the battle he was in. Lucius, if he's getting weak, he won't be able to tear those two apart. Felix, that may be, but trust me, if Bellatrix finds out about this, he's a goner. Mary, so now what? Lucius, Narcissa will keep Bella away from them while we deal with the Dark Lord. Felix, alright then, it's settled. We have to make sure he doesn't see them together. Mary, just like Romeo and Juliet. There were so many different ways you could have done this and have it actually be interesting. But no, of course not. You're only capable of writing the most basic boring plot with the most basic boring characters ever. It's genuinely sad to see that your creativity is only comparable to children's books. Not even children's books, they're more creative and interesting than this. I feel like I'm reading notes you took after waking up from a dream, trying to recall the details of the storyline, but all you have when you wake up is a jumbled mess of words that you could barely decipher. It's almost over. Almost. I'm so close to being done. Chapter 7, Yule Ball. So far, Cerberus and I spend most of the day with each other, and we always hang at the tree. I even give him a few lessons about other stuff he hasn't learned yet. We even decided to give each other some nicknames. However, I haven't came up with a good one for me. Cerberus promised he would find a good nickname for me. For him, I decided to call him the Half-Blood Prince. I thought the nickname suits him more. We both then weed just hanging at the tree. Jesus Christ, what a tongue twister. Studying for a quiz until Cerberus spoke. Okay, so in this version, she would be the reason he would refer to himself as the Half-Blood Prince in that potions book. Not something I'm completely opposed to. He uses the nickname that was given to him by someone he cared about. But also the reason he called himself that in the first place was in honor of his mother's family, the Princes. Because if you know Cerberus's backstory, his father, Tobias Snape, is heavily abusive and Cerberus fucking hates him. So he calls himself Half-Blood Prince to associate himself further with the side of his family he actually gives a fuck about. So you'd have to really go into her learning about Snape and his life and then becoming closer friends. And he mentions his mother's half of the family, the Princes, and how much he admires them and loves his mom. So she could start calling him Prince instead of Snape, you know? You could have had a really wholesome and bonding moment between these two, but no, of course not. We get a quick paragraph that poorly explains things instead of actual development. Joy to the world. Cerberus, Marie, are you going to the Yule Ball? Marie, no, I don't got anyone to go with at all. Cerberus, well, I was thinking that you and I can go together, you know, as best friends. Marie, I would love to go with you, Cerberus Snape. Snape, smile. Good, I'll meet you there. Marie, why don't you and I go to my friend Teresa's tailor shop? She's really talented in making tucks and dresses. You should come. It isn't far. They're giving students permission to go get tucks or dress. Please? When did Teresa get a tailor shop? I would have liked that information earlier, thanks. Cerberus, Alright, but only if Lucius and Narcissa could come with us too. Marie, deal. We both got up and went to find Narcissa and Lucius when we found those two talking to each other. We talked to them and asked if they wanted to come with us. They accepted the offer, and we left with Teresa leading us to her tailor shop. It was truly beautiful. Teresa, it's not much, but at least my mother lets me use it sometimes. Oh, so it's her family's tailor shop? Okay, again, information I would have liked earlier. Marie, I think it's beautiful. Lucius, indeed. With a few more space, it could be more than a tailor. You could possibly become popular with your designs. Teresa, thank you. I'll take your measurements and start working. Teresa began measuring and keeping track of whose measurements are. She got to work and created me and Narcissa's dress first, while the two Slytherin boys waited for a bit until Teresa was done with the dresses she made just for us. She told us to wear them as a surprise for Cerberus and Lucius. We both agreed, and we let Cerberus and Lucius get their measurements and suits from her. Narcissa, so be honest with me. Do you really like Cerberus? Marie, how? Narcissa, in a crush kind of way. Why do you insist on writing them like they're 5? The way Murillo writes character dialogue drives me insane. Marie, blush. Maybe a little. Okay, fine, a lot. Narcissa, then this is your chance to tell him. Confess to the man. He isn't dating anyone at the moment. Marie, well... Teresa, we're finished. Come on, we have to head back to the school before we get into trouble missing curfew. Marie, but we haven't paid you yet. Teresa, no worries, it's on the house. They're yours. Marie, well... Narcissa, oh thank you, Teresa. For now on, I'll only buy my clothes here at your tailor shop. Teresa, really? Narcissa, of course. After all, you make the most amazing designs I ever seen. Narcissa and Teresa talked more about fashion while I talked to Cerberus and Lucius about my brother and sister, but mostly my parents. Lucius, so Marie, where is your mother? Marie, frown. She died on her deathbed. What? She died on her deathbed? Yeah, that's what deathbed means. Deathbed literally means where a person dies. You sound stupid. What you should have wrote is, she became very ill when I was a child and passed away. Like, were you trying to say she died while lying in bed? Is that what you were trying to say? Because there are so many better ways you could have worded that. Dear God. Lucius, I apologize for asking that. I'm sorry for your loss. Marie, it's okay. She wanted me to promise her something. Lucius, and that is... Marie, she wanted me to promise her that I will find the man who will love me for who I am. I think she wanted me to find the one. Lucius, well that is a nice promise. Cerberus, indeed. We talked along the way and arrived back in time for us to get changed into our dresses. I changed in the Slytherin's dormitory because Narcissa wanted to do my makeup, while Teresa did my hair. When they were done, I helped Narcissa with her hair and even Teresa as well. We then went to the Yule Ball where Cerberus and Lucius were waiting, along with a man I didn't recognize. Teresa and Narcissa came down the steps while I just hid behind the pillar because I was a bit nervous. What if I don't look beautiful? What if Cerberus doesn't like the way I look in this dress? Oh well, it's time for me to face him. Is it just me, or is this moving faster than previous chapters? It's like she's starting to really speedrun her story. Like, this is just an outline of how she wanted the actual chapters to go, but instead of writing out proper chapters, she just posted her outline and called it a day. No one's point of view. As Cerberus, Lucius, and Narcissa wait for Marie, Mary soon spotted her sister walking down the steps as she spoke to them. Mary, she looks beautiful. Lucius, we know. Mary, no, I mean really, look. Cerberus and Lucius look up as Marie comes down the steps slowly. Cerberus was the only one looking at her with eyes wide and mouth gape until Marie stood in front of him and closed his mouth. Marie, remember to close your mouth. You might catch some flies. Cerberus, you look beautiful. Marie, thank you. Cerberus, smile. Offer his hand. Shall we? Marie, we shall. Takes his hand. Instead of Cerberus taking Marie to the Yule Ball, he dragged Marie into a very beautiful garden filled with many flowers, but mostly black roses. Marie: Cerberus, these are beautiful. Cerberus: not as beautiful as you. Marie: Cerberus. Oh, this is getting a bit ridiculous. Oh, jeez. Marie: I have something to say. I liked you ever since the day you saved me from Potter, and ever since that day you've been by my side, and ever since our 3rd year, and now you're here with me in this beautiful garden that you and I only know. You've been so kind to me, honest, loyal, and all I can think of is the happiness of you and I. Marie Riddle, I love you. I really wish we had gotten more build up to an I love you confession. Like, come on, we got nothing. We got next to 0 interactions between these two characters. You even 2-year time skipped us in a spot where you could have taken time to build a relationship between these two characters. Also, hey, wait a second. It's the Yule Ball. That means it's winter. How are those roses alive? I assume magic? But are they not cold? Bro, you could have had a cute moment where she gets cold and he gives her his jacket so she's warm. Why are you so bad at this? Marie: Cerberus, I don't know what to say. Cerberus, I know that you won't be able to accept my feelings for you, Marie, and I can appreciate if you want us to be just best friends, and... Marie: Cerberus Snape, I love you too. Cerberus, you do? Marie: Of course, ever since that big show-off James started picking on you, all I wanted to do was defend you. Even if we were in different households, I wanted to be with you and only you. The both of us take a few steps close to each other when we suddenly both kissed at the same time. That's generally how kissing works. You kiss each other. If only one of you kissed back, that might be assault, depending on what the context is. The kiss was truly magical, and for some reason my heart started beating in a steady beat. Time went by when suddenly I stopped kissing and sensed a presence near me and Cerberus. I backed away until my father appeared behind us. I was worried of what my father was going to say, but when he did, I stood in front of Cerberus defending him from my father. What the hell is Voldemort doing here? Murillo is the worst at pacing and storytelling. She's got the ideas, but her execution of them makes all her stories feel like really bad troll fics. Like they were purposely written poorly to gain attention. But from what I've gathered about Murillo, these are not troll fics. She is 100% dead serious about her writing and gets hella pissed off when people criticize her writing or point out gross things included in her stories. If you don't want your writings to be perceived as another poorly written troll fic, then you gotta be open to hearing all opinions about them. Not just the good, but the bad and the ugly too. Anyways, back to Voldemort just showing up. I do not like that he showed up at Hogwarts just so we could have this big drama about him being mad about her being in love. And honestly, I feel like Marie's reaction to her father showing up is very underwhelming. She should be terrified that her father could just decide to kill Cerberus right then and there. It's not like he's against killing children. He tries to canonically kill a fucking baby. 2 babies! He sent his followers after fucking Neville and his parents. Marie: Father, before you say anything or cast a spell, I want you to know that Cerberus and I love each other. You can't just tear us apart, Father. Please, I beg you, let me and Cerberus stay together, please. Voldemort: Marie, you do realize that love is a weakness. Marie: It's not, Father. Like Mom said, love is a strength and... Voldemort: That is enough. Marie, head back to your room. Now. I let a single tear fall down my cheek and I ran away from him, but not before I yelled at him. Marie: I hate you, Father. What? They're not at home. You can't just order her back to her room. God, this is the most basic melodramatic teenage romance bullshit ever, and it's infuriating. This is what children under the age of 12 think teenage romance drama is like. Good lord! Also, good job just leaving Cerberus alone with the Dark Lord. Great plan. Also, let's not forget that Voldemort told his kids he loved them at the start of the fucking story. The inconsistencies are going to kill me. Oh my god, well that's it for this chapter. 2 more to go. Chapter 8, Secretly Seeing Each Other. I lay on my bed as I cried and cried. My father never understands that I'm not a little girl anymore. I hid underneath my own blanket as Mary came in to comfort me. It's not that he doesn't understand you're not a little girl anymore. He's a terrorist that likes control and doesn't believe that love is something that should be sought out because he thinks it makes you weak. And he's not about that. He wants his followers and his children to be strong purebloods. Murillo, it's not that hard to keep your narrative straight. Please! Mary, it's all right, Marie. Father will forget about it soon enough. Marie, no he won't. He'll just keep me away from Cerberus. Mary, not if me and brother have an idea. Marie, and that is? Mary, Felix, Lucius, and Narcissa are going to make sure Father doesn't come near you and Cerberus. In the meantime, I think there's a place you would Cerberus and see each other. Marie, where? Mary, it's a small cottage cut. It's still there. You two can go there to meet each other and... Marie, no. If Father wants to keep Cerberus and I away from each other, so be it. I don't care what he says. Cerberus and I love each other and nothing is going to stop us. Okay, stop. I can't tell if Murillo's bad writing is just confusing me now, but this sentence just sounds like one big contradiction. If Father wants to keep us away from each other, then so be it. Sounds like she's just accepting the situation even if she doesn't like it. But then it's followed up by, I don't care what he says, we love each other and nothing is going to stop us. Which says she's not okay with what her father says and she's going to keep seeing Cerberus. I have reread this several times now, trying to see if I could find a different way to interpret this. And I guess it could also be read as, if Father wants us to stay away from each other, then that's too fucking bad. I'm going to keep seeing Cerberus anyways. And I seriously cannot tell if this sentence is actually written stupid, or if I've just been reading so much of Murillo's bad writing that it's completely eaten away at my reading comprehension skills. That's how fucking confused I am right now. What the hell is going on? Felix. Marie, Cerberus wants to see you. Marie, where? Felix, at the astronomy tower. Marie, all right. Mary, but Marie, what about Father? Marie, if my father want to talk to me, tell him I never want to see him ever again. You could have used this! You could have used this so easily for drama, and it would have been so fucking good for the sequel, too! Ah! You could have written that Marie, at the end of the story, when they're getting ready to graduate, runs away or fakes her death or something and tries to get Cerberus to go with her, but he can't because he's too entangled in the Dark Lord shit, and he has a dark mark now. He believes she's dead, but years later, a little girl that suspiciously looks a lot like him shows up, and she gets called, and her name is Raven Prince. Have it so Marie took Snape's mom's last name. Bro, this could have been so good. I'm getting giddy just thinking about it. Fuck you, I'm taking this idea. It's mine now, you can't have it. I ran out of Ravenclaw dormitory and ran as fast as I could to the astronomy tower to find Cerberus looking at the stars. I smiled and called out his name. He turned around and ran towards me, where he hugged me as I cried on his shoulder. He kept comforting me as I cried, and we both soon kissed each other underneath the moonlight as we heard some kind of music playing. We both looked and saw Roberto. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting that name to be... That's funny, jeez. Wow. What is Roberto doing here? Roberto, where did you come from? A Ravenclaw boy who is in the same year as we are. Roberto, where have you come from? What are you doing here? Who arranged this? Clearly not Cerberus, because he's just as surprised as you are that Roberto's here. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Oh, Roberto the Ravenclaw. Hello, Roberto. Okay, anyways, God, that was so fucking funny for no reason. Oh my god. Roberto, just pretend I'm not here and listen as the music enlighten you both. Cerberus and I smiled and we both danced slowly to the song. Roberto, this song goes to our beautiful couple in the astronomy tower. After all, Cerberus does love Marie. Oh god, there's more song lyrics. I'm not reading them. I refuse. You pause and read them. I'll read the bits in between the lyrics, but that's about it. I don't know what song Murillo decided to put here. I don't think it's from Nightmare Before Christmas this time. Actually, let me Google it real quick. It's I Love You Too Much from the Book of Life movie. No wonder I didn't recognize that. I haven't seen that movie since it came out. Okay, song lyrics, song lyrics, song lyrics, song lyrics. Just as the music plays, Cerberus and Marie dance, and soon enough black rose petals appeared out of nowhere, and they both just laughed and danced the night. Song lyrics, song lyrics, song lyrics. I seriously cannot believe you put this whole last song in the middle of your chapter. Are the song lyrics done? They are. Good. Marie and Cerberus kissed one last time until Marie looked at him with concern all over her face. Marie, what shall we do if my father tries to get rid of you? Cerberus, do not worry, Marie. We'll soon find a way. We just need to convince him that our love isn't a weakness, it's a strength. Marie, all right. They both stay underneath the moonlight until the very end. Meanwhile, Slytherin's dungeon. Mary, Felix, we have to do something. Felix, what can we do? He already banned her from dating anyone. She promised Mom that she would find the man that will love her for who she is, and now this happens. Narcissa, there has to be a reason why. Lucius, Narcissa is right. Why would the Dark Lord ban Marie from dating any kind of guy she wishes to date? Felix, that I don't know. Mary, oh, if only we knew. Hold on, Marie. Remind me again which house she's in? How do you not remember the house your sister is in? Felix, Ravenclaw, where else? Certainly not Hufflepuff or those Griffin dorks. Father would be very... That's it. He's not banning Marie from dating any guy because he doesn't want her to fall in love. Marry Felix, Narcissa, and Lucius at the same time. It's because she's in Ravenclaw. But that's literally the reason. His whole deal has been love is a weakness, and you are not allowed to feel or find love. This was said before she was sorted into Ravenclaw. This was said before she even was in fucking school. Are you insane? God, the only thing good about this is Voldemort is actually upset about his kid being in Ravenclaw. That's pretty on track for Voldemort, but that's the only point you get. Mary, I should have known. That's why he's punishing her. Felix, because she isn't in Slytherin. Father has sent us many gifts that Marie never got one gift from him. Mary, only a letter. That was all. Gee, really wish we had seen all that instead of just being told in the second to last chapter. Narcissa, what will we do? We can't just convince Dumbledore to transfer Marie into Slytherin. She isn't the cunning type. Lucius, not to mention she isn't the type for ambition. Mary, how will we help Marie in this? Voice, I think I know. The four of them turned around and spotted Cerberus holding Sleepy Mary in his arms, with his coat covering Marie as a blanket. Lucius took Marie out of Cerberus's hands and placed her on a sofa where she could rest comfortably while they discussed with Cerberus. Mary, what is your big plan? Cerberus, I'm going to confront her father, prove to him that Marie and I's love is truly his strength. Felix, are you out of your... Mary and Narcissa, shh! Felix whispers, are you out of your bloody mind? You can't just go and confront him. Cerberus, I can and I will. Just watch me. Cerberus was about to walk towards the chimney when Mary stopped him. Mary, I'll come with you. Felix, Mary, Felix, it is your duty as big brother to accept the fact that Cerberus is doing what no brave man has done. Confront our father. Now, is that something you would want for Marie's boyfriend to be? Hey, isn't there a war going on between your father and the Ministry of Magic? There are plenty of people who have confronted Voldemort. Now, if they survive, that's another thing. Felix, yes, of course. Mary, well then, I suggest you come with me and Cerberus. Looks at Cerberus. Don't worry, we'll be there to support you. Cerberus, that's very kind of you, Mary, but are you sure you want to come with me to face him? Mary, trust me, we'll be there to help you. Cerberus, all right, come on. The three of them left and transported themselves to the only manor they were about to face. Riddle Manor. Good lord, this would have been 10 times better if it had been an original story with original characters and not a Harry Potter fanfiction. It still wouldn't be good, mind you, but at least you wouldn't have these horrific mischaracterizations of the characters we all know very well. But thank the stars, we are almost done with the story. I'm still debating on if I even want to read the story about Snape and Marie's daughter, Raven. I kinda don't, because it's going to be just as bad as this, if not worse. I don't know, I'm still deciding on how much I want to suffer. Chapter 9, Cerberus confronting the Dark Lord. Cerberus, Mary, and Felix stand in front of a rather large door, which opens to the meeting room. Mary stood by Cerberus' left side, while Felix stood by his right. The three of them looked at the door, and soon Mary spoke to Cerberus. Mary, now Cerberus, whatever happens, will be by your side. Cerberus, thank you. Felix, and if our father tries to kill you, we'll be able to protect you. Cerberus nodded and took a few steps close to the door and knocked. They hear the sound of someone say, "Come in." Cerberus opens the door with Mary and Felix following him until they reach the center of the room to see the Dark Lord sitting on the armchair with his eyes looking at the fire, until his eyes shifted to see where Mary, Cerberus, and Felix are standing. Voldemort, I thought I told you not to come near my daughter, Marie. Cerberus, I know you don't want me. I can't take this seriously. Okay, deep breaths, deep breaths. I know you don't want me to be with your daughter, but I must speak for once. You can't just keep her locked up like a caged bird. As much as if she's in Ravenclaw, it doesn't matter. I know your wife was in Ravenclaw, and you never cared if she was in Ravenclaw. She a pureblood like you. She cares for you to put you in charge of protecting your children, and it doesn't mean to be overprotective of Marie. She should be free to fall in love with whoever she loves. Marie is an intelligent, brave, honest, kind-hearted, loyal, and generous woman I have ever met, and I'm proud to see how you taught her, but keeping her away from love isn't helping her become stronger. I love Marie, not because she's your daughter, but because she is a kind-hearted woman, and if that doesn't prove to you that I love Marie, then I will forever stay by Marie's side, always. Well, at least he brings up a good point about their mom being a Ravenclaw woman. Because in the context of this story, Voldemort shouldn't care that Marie is a Ravenclaw as well. Realistically, we know Voldemort would be hella pissed if his kids ended up anywhere else but Slytherin. But if we're playing by Murillo's rules, then he shouldn't care because he married a Ravenclaw woman. Also, not Cerberus giving Voldemort the "but I love her" speech. Imagine going up to the Dark Lord just to yell at him about loving his daughter and you don't care what he thinks. Marie and Felix stood there with wide eyes as Voldemort stood up to look at his two children. Voldemort, Mary, Felix, outside, now. Marie, Daddy, don't... Don't call the Dark Lord Daddy! Oh my god. Oh, I can't breathe. Like, I know that's your actual father, but can we please refrain from referring to Lord Voldemort as Daddy? Please, God, that's the you could call him, please. Oh my fucking god. Hang on, I need a minute.
2 hours later.
Okay, I'm back. I'm okay. Whew, I need that as a sticker, though. Don't call the Dark Lord Daddy, with Voldemort just there being his ugly-ass snake-looking self. That would be funny as hell. Don't lie. That would be fucking hysterical. Oh my god. Wow. I had read that, obviously, when I was scripting for this. But saying it out loud gives it like a whole different vibe. And that took me the fuck out. Oh my god. Anyways, where was I? Voldemort. Now! Mary jumped back a little and left with Felix holding Mary close as they left Cerberus alone with Voldemort. So much for protecting Snape. If your dad tries to murder him, y'all ain't even in the room anymore. You backed down quick. Which, I mean, realistically, fair. If the Dark Lord told me to leave, I'm fucking gone before he finishes his sentence. Ain't no way I'm sticking around. Fuck that. Voldemort. So you think you can just come to my home and tell me that you could date my daughter, Marie, that easily? Cerberus. I wasn't going to just say that I can date your daughter. I would like her hand in marriage. Damn, Cerberus, you bold in this story. Voldemort. Absolutely. Cerberus, you didn't let me finish. In exchange, I will become a Death Eater. Voldemort. Smirk. Well, why didn't you say so? I will accept the deal, but we must make the unbreakable vow. Mary, Felix, come back inside. Imagine interrupting the Dark Lord. Like, if you're trying to convince him to allow you to marry his daughter, you gotta have a lot more tact than bursting into his home without warning, yelling at him, and interrupting him. I don't think just saying, if you let me marry your daughter, I'll become a Death Eater would cut it. Man, you just sat here and disrespected the Dark Lord in his own home. You're lucky he didn't just Avada Kedavra your ass before you finished speaking. And another good opportunity missed. You could have had this be the reason Snape starts getting entangled in the Death Eaters and trying to suck up to Lord Voldemort, so he could marry Marie eventually and not have the Dark Lord murder him on the spot. It could have been just a ploy the whole time to be with Marie, and when she says she wants to run away with him, it's already too late. He already has a dark mark and is permanently connected to Voldemort. You are really missing out on some good-ass drama opportunities, Murillo. You gotta get more creative. You are doing the bare minimum when you could have created a masterpiece of fiction. Felix and Mary come inside. Voldemort. Mary, take out your wand. You remember how to create the unbreakable vow, correct? Mary. Yes. Voldemort. Excellent. Cerberus and I shall create the unbreakable vow. Repeat what I say when I tell you what to say in your head. Mary. All right. Mary took out her wand as Cerberus and Voldemort held each other's wrists as a white glow appeared on their wrists. Mary took out her wand and repeated what her father is telling her in her head. Mary. Will you, Cerberus Snape, cherish Marie Riddle as your lawful wedded wife, protecting her and tending to her needs through illness and disappointment? And disappointment? What's that supposed to mean? Disappointment? Also, another good opportunity you could have had. You could have had the reason why Voldemort's wife didn't originally leave him when she finally kind of realized, oh shit, what have I gotten myself into? It's because they had made an unbreakable vow. That would have been good. That would have been some good drama too. But again, no. Of course I don't get anything like that. I just get sadness and disappointment. Cerberus, I will. Mary, will you strive to understand her, give her comfort when she seeks it from you? Will you try never to say in anger that which you wouldn't say in friendship? And when each night comes, will you go to sleep with thanks for her presence at your side and renewed love for her in your heart? Cerberus, I will. Mary, do you, Cerberus Snape, love Marie Riddle willingly and completely, withholding nothing? Will you protect her and give her your deepest considerations of her feelings, desires, and needs? Cerberus, I will. Mary, will you promise to protect her with your life until the day you die? Cerberus, I will. Mary, and will you become a Death Eater just for Marie's hand in marriage? Cerberus, I will. The vow was made, and Cerberus was soon going to become a Death Eater. As they were about to leave, an owl appeared into the Riddle Manor, landing onto Felix's shoulder and handing it to him. As he opened the letter and realizes it was for Cerberus, he hands the letter to him. As he reads the letter and sees it was from Lucius Malfoy. Dear Cerberus, I'm not sure how much time you have left, but Marie is just about to leave to search for you. You have to come back immediately. If you don't, they just might think she's a lost child and send her to an orphanage. You must come back and save her in time. Sincerely, Lucius Malfoy. That letter made no sense. What? Aren't they at the school still? Who will think she's a lost child and send her to an orphanage? What the hell are you talking about? Save her in time? She's not in danger. What are you talking about? Can you at least try and make sense, please? Cerberus, Mary, and Felix had not much time, but decided to fly their brooms all the way to Hogwarts just to get there. Wait, but they didn't take their brooms to go to Riddle Manor. They used flue powder, didn't they? They traveled through the fireplace. Or did they apparate? I don't know. I don't remember anymore. I just remember them showing up outside of the house. What are you Whatever. It took them a little long trip, but they managed to arrive in time, not being spotted, and landed onto the astronomy tower to run and go after Marie. Meanwhile, Marie carries her backpack and walks to the train station to go after her siblings. At the same time, Cerberus runs to the train station while Marie walks there. Just when the train arrives and she was about to hop on, someone called her by a nickname he finally came up with. Cerberus. My Black Beauty! Ew. Cringe. Also, what do you mean he finally came up with? He's been calling her that for a while now! And she's the one who gave him the nickname anyways? Rewind to chapter 3, when that shitty-ass nickname was first brought up. I turned around and noticed that the girl is gone. I looked around and noticed a piece of paper left on the table. I picked it up and opened the flap to see what was written, and it was from her. Just call me your Black Beauty. This was the first time the nickname was mentioned, and it was Marie who made it for herself because she didn't want to tell Cerberus her name. Then it's mentioned again in the next chapter when Cerberus asks Narcissa who she is. Narcissa, she told me her father taught her how, and she soon learned it that quick. Cerberus, do you know who she is? Narcissa, maybe, but I won't tell you. Narcissa, please tell me. All I know is that she's called Black Beauty. And then again! Cerberus, shut up, she's more than that. She's my Black Beauty. You need to start rereading your chapters if you are getting this many things wrong in your own fucking story. This is actually insane. Marie stopped and looked back to see the man she loved standing far from Marie. She dropped her backpack, looking at Cerberus with tears, believing that it was his Cerberus. She smiled and cried, Marie, my half-blood prince. Cerberus, smile. Marie, Marie, you're alive. Marie ran towards Cerberus as he ran to her. When they were close to each other, he lifts Marie up in the air, spinning her around until he places her on the ground, gently caressing her cheek when they both kiss. Marie, Felix, Narcissa, and Lucius came just in time to see her and Cerberus kiss. Mary and Narcissa were eyeing while Felix was only pretending to gag until Mary and Narcissa slapped him upside the head. Lucius only smirking, knowing that Cerberus and Marie would be together. But what they don't know is that someone has been watching both Cerberus and Marie from a distance. She soon let a single tear fall as she watched them kiss. She then left and ran to her own lover. What? Oh no. Oh no, no, no. You better the fuck not have been implying what I think you were. I will have the biggest fit ever. Oh my god. That is probably the worst ending possible. And the implication that I'm pretty sure that her mother is alive? Now I have to read The Princess of Darkness. Do I really believe I'm gonna get answers about who this mystery woman is in that story? No, but I might as well try to get answers. But honestly, Marilla's writing is so predictable that the woman at the end was 100% Marie's mom. Man, what a headache. This whole story was ridiculous, and the amount of inconsistencies was actually insane. It took her 3 months to write this story. It was published in September and finished in October, so there wasn't that much time in between chapters. How do you forget plot points in your own story so quickly that you end up with this many inconsistencies? Reread your damn story if you don't remember what happened in previous chapters. This is ridiculous. Not to mention the plot itself is just so goddamn nonsensical. More than half of what happens just doesn't make sense, and it's infuriating. Really, the only credit I can give Murillo is she's got some semi-decent ideas. Child of Voldemort disobeys her father and finds love at her mother's request. Decent idea. Pretty solid. It's just Murillo's ability to write anything outside of the most basic, boring, Hallmark-ass plot ever doesn't exist. And that's an insult to Hallmark. The story was nothing but disappointment after disappointment. And I fear for what's to come in Princess of Darkness, which is 70 chapters long, by the way. I went to check, it's 70 chapters long, and I am not ready. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you like my content and want to support me, check out my Ko-fi and Threadless account where I sell stuff. Also, check out my other social medias, DeviantArt, Instagram, Blue Sky, Artfight, Wattpad, and Unveil. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you are new. I need to go read something that's actually good. I am fed up with this story.